Hi, today I'm going to review a classic first episode of Bernard's Watch, which was a show in the late 90s on CITV. And it's a show effectively about a boy who can stop time using a gold watch. So I'm going to go over the first episode and maybe also talk about a few later episodes and what to expect. And I'm not going to lie, I actually really enjoyed stepping back in time, sorry about the pun, and watching it because it was actually really enjoyable. And I don't watch many kids shows today, but I think back in that era, the 90s, had some absolute classics. So here we go. The introduction actually looks quite apocalyptic and quite dystopian, and he doesn't look like he's having a great time at all. Almost looks quite emo and quite sad, but alas, it's the end of the rainbow. What is that? A gold pocket watch. And that jumper. I'm thinking 1977, not 1997. Now, we find out that Bernard is always fantastically late for stuff. It's never quite sure explained why he's late for everything, but he just doesn't seem to have the time. I mean, what would have been good is maybe a reason for his lateness.
There was once a boy called Bernard who was always late.
Sorry, Dad.
Where's that boy?
Whatever he was supposed to be doing,
Sorry.
it was always the same.
Bernard Beasley? Bernard?
Sorry.
Bernard never seemed to be able to get there on time.
Jane.
Here's Parenting 101.
Very worried.
Get your boy a diary and everything will be fine.
Dad,
Just listen, Bernard.
But we think we have the answer.
The reason I am never late is because I have a diary and I write down where I'm supposed to be. Your father has one too.
He was still late.
The thing is, he is a really sensible and responsible child, and it doesn't really make sense as to why he's late for everything.
Come on, Bernard. You're late.
Like, he seems to be on the move, so this constant nagging that he's getting late for everything isn't really justified, because he's a pretty good kid.
Bernard found he had forgotten something even more important. In all the rush, he had also forgotten to put on his trousers.
Now, for some reason, Bernard didn't bring his trousers to the party. He forgot to put them on while leaving the house,
Bernard
which
hurried home.
seems impossible, but there you go.
Mum! Mum!
Unfortunately, when he got there, he found his parents had gone out.
Poor kid just has this strange, almost strange succession of endless bad luck. And the universe seems completely against this poor innocent boy. To the point it actually gets quite heartbreaking.
Everything took time, and he never seemed to have enough of it.
And then his present is destroyed. Like, this is just not fair.
There was hardly anything left of the bracelet Bernard had bought for Karen's birthday.
And the universe clearly hates this kid.
There was no point going to the party now, Bernard thought. He was covered in mud, and there was no time to go and change. He had no present, and there was no time to get another. How he wished he had more time.
He has a sulk outside a bin, which, you know, makes perfect sense. And then pops up some sort of strange version of Butlin's / 1950s interpretation of the Future Man. But this character is the postman, who's a recurring character who actually brings Bernard his watch because he sat under a rainbow and wished for more time. But what Bernard decides to do is get a new present for the one that got trashed by a lawnmower. And he goes to a shop, and what is quite
Carefully
remarkable,
chose the present he wanted.
picks up a toy gun, as you know, perfect present for a girl, don't know. And he actually makes the effort to leave a note about how much he spent and what change he
He had
gets
to
from the
work
till.
out himself
Like,
how
most
much
kids would
change
just
he
run amok, but what I like about this show is he never takes advantage. Like, he could do so much carnage,
and then take it
but
from
there's
the
a
till.
really strong moral code in the show, which is actually really nice to see. But after being able to freeze time, he's actually able to enjoy the party and he doesn't feel left out. And I think it's actually really cute. And I just think it's just like really a nice, easy watch. And I remember coming home, I think a lot of kids my age dreamed of having a Bernard's watch. But we wouldn't use it as responsibility. That he was often in the playground seen as a bit of a square for the things he would do with the watch. But don't forget, ITV, it wasn't just entertainment, it was trying to teach us right and wrong. And I think if Bernard had been a bit of a bastard, then, you know, I think it would have been really bad for like young viewers to kind of watch this and to see all the mischief he gets up to. I mean, it is quite a nice, wholesome first episode, and other episodes include Bernard stopping a watch to do the shopping, Bernard using the watch to cheat at a maths test, Bernard using the watch to cheat at golf, and do extra time to do his homework. So even there is a bit mischievousness, there is like a sense of responsibility which carries on through the series. Apart from the episode I think was a bit crazy where Bernard gets a wound on his arm. I can't remember how, and he really wants to go on holiday, and the doctor says no, you can't go on holiday because you've got this wound. So Bernard actually stops time for an entire week and then steals pizza from the neighbour during this week. And it is a bit cheeky that, you know, he doesn't get to go on holiday, so he just completely stops time just so it can heal. And, you know, it is a bit cheeky, I think. But yeah, most of the characters, yeah, there is, like I said before, there's quite a few bad actors. And as you can see on this clip, his parents seem almost quite careless.
Sure he will.
Oh, hello, Bernard. What have you been doing with yourself?
Been next door to Mrs. Hewitt. You haven't been worried about me, have you?
That's nice.
I'd have thought he'd been down the park with his mates. Lovely day like today.
I've been next door. You can check with Mrs. Hewitt if you like. You sure you haven't been worried about me?
Of course not. You're old enough to look after yourself now.
Well, thanks very much for your help. I really mustn't take up any more of your time.
It was no trouble at all.
Nice to meet you, young man.
You can get all the uniform from Hedges in the High Street. I wouldn't bother about the cap, it's not compulsory.
Bernard was rather put out. They hadn't even noticed that he hadn't been there. They just didn't care about him at all.
Yeah, but these 5 series is, you know, I watched a few episodes and it's still, you know, it is quite dated with like the outfits and the cars, and the writing isn't completely clever. They could have gone in much deeper, but it does ask some very interesting moral questions. Particularly of what would happen if the watch got into the wrong hands. And I watched one episode which was a bit traumatic. It featured Dirty Den. Leslie Grantham ended up taking the watch himself and using it to commit crimes.
Hello, Bernard. I've been expecting you. No, don't go away. We've got a lot to talk about.
The next thing Bernard knew, he was sitting inside Mr. Rattle's house.
Not bad for a morning's work, eh? Though this will just tide me over for a few days. When the bank's open, that's when I'll get the real money.
And what did you used to use this for? Playing tricks on your teachers?
That's my watch.
Not anymore, sorry.
But you can't.
Let's get one thing straight, shall we? This is mine now, and there's nothing you or anyone else can do about it. Because if somebody tried, like your parents or the police, all I've got to do is press this button. And in no time at all, I could be somewhere else. Now, it may be a long way away, or it might be very close. Who knows? I wouldn't tell anyone what's happened if I was you, Bernard. Remember how I used this watch to bring you here? Well, I might use it to put you somewhere not quite so nice.
Like on the top of a very tall building. Or being tied to a log in a sawmill, with the saw getting closer and closer.
Like, this is something out of a horror movie. And this is on a kids' show.
But of course I won't need to do any of that. Because you're not going to tell anyone, are you?
No.
No. Of course not. Good. Well, off you go. Go on.
But yeah, there you go. So definitely worth a watch, bit for the nostalgia feel. A lot of the episodes seem to be on YouTube and Daily Motion, so you'll find most of them on there. Enjoy. And Bernard, can you not press that button, please? That